Hey, so this week I thought we'd talk a little bit about designing the neckline treatment for a necklace. We touched on that in the last video with Gypsy Beading. We're going to talk about Gypsy Beading a little bit more, and maybe some other options, things you can hook up and put with your little sections of beads on wire to make your necklaces really interesting. It's what I call working a necklace. It's something that I've done for a really long time, and I've always tried to work the neckline treatment to pull in the design from the focal and make it a whole piece. Sometimes I'm really successful, sometimes I'm not, sometimes I'm like, that's okay. You might have pieces at home in your stash that you might want to go pull out, and maybe you've just put a chain on them, and there's nothing wrong with that. But maybe if you go back and you take that chain off and you do a little bit of gypsy beading or some linkage or a little bit of fiber, sari ribbon, you can make that design go from, hey, that's pretty cool, to, oh wow, I want to buy that. And isn't that what it's all about now? So many of us support our hobby by selling the things that we make. Some of us are trying to make a living as artists. That's really cool. So you need to think on down the road, what's going to make this piece pop? So I'm going to do my best to discuss that with you this week and help you to understand a little bit about more how I think in that way, and then you take it from there and go to the next step. So come on over here, and I'm going to attempt to show you some of the things that I've done. In fact, I'm wearing some, and how I did them, and what you can do. So what we have here in front of me is actually a lariat necklace. And it's all done by Gypsy Beading. Even the tassel, the focal, everything. All sections on a head pin or a wire. And then joined by jump rings. Now this is different than the sort of linkage that you see where the wires are all joined and turned. It's really popular right now. I'm still working on that along with the rest of you. I kind of like the jump rings. Because it gives me another design element. I could actually hang things from the jumps if I wanted, not on this piece maybe, but others. So I kind of like the idea of it being a chain and a little bit more flexible. But anyways, you can see this is all one long line. Take this toggle apart. All one long line. There. And then I have attached dangles for movement with jumps to the other end of the toggle. So this is a really simple style that anybody can do. You just need to get your beads together and play, and the next thing you know, you will have a very dramatic necklace. By the way, this is all made from things we carry at the site except for these beads here. I don't carry a lot of glass beads at this time, but I did want to mention, a lot of people have asked me what a wedding cake lampwork bead is. These are wedding cake lampwork beads. I'm sure many of you have seen these beads any number of times in your travels. They are a personal favorite of mine. They have this really cool old world bohemian look that I really enjoy. But they're actually made in India, and they're made by hand, and they're what I call designer crude. They're very individualized, but they're very, very imperfect, and I like that look. And I've also tried to attempt to make that look in polymer clay, and sometimes have been successful. So that's something that you might want to think about too, that you could do that. We have these in a lovely robin's egg blue at Gypsy Boutiques, and I don't know if you realize it, but oh, and these are vintage too. You can't get these anymore. They were very expensive. But the caps and stuff we all have. The thing is we have, like, I don't know, it's over 70 different kinds of bead caps at Gypsy Boutiques. And I think that it's important to frame your beads with caps. Now, I haven't done it on all the links here, but beads really pop when you frame them. And that's why I'm a big bead cap nut, and would encourage you to be also, because you can take a very plain bead and take it from something that's very ho-hum to, oh wow, real quick with a bead cap. So I'm going to put this aside now. I'll show you another one I did. This is a very, I like really long stuff. This is again on a toggle as a closure, just all on wire. because these are in the back, I didn't use any bead caps back here because they don't show. And so, less to catch in your hair and stuff too. But all these have caps. And of course I have mixed metals on here. I have mostly brass ox and then some gold. Why not? The more the merrier, mixing your colors. I've got a little Swarovski rondelle on here, but this is really old, checky looking. This was painted by artist Kim Jelly. I've talked a lot about her work. You can paint on brass hearts. A lot of people have done it. Another person who does it really good is Beansy, who frequents our website at, actually it's a Facebook page. Beansy comes and she makes the most wonderful kitchen sink necklaces and bracelets. And if you have been to our Facebook page, you've seen Beansy's stuff. She's a good painter too. Kim Jelly did this one. She didn't do the back, but she glues these front to back. And you can see how I've actually used the bead caps here and made like a little tassel and bent this around. This is kind of cool. This is our old brass ox. I made this probably close on 10 years ago, maybe 8 at least. So the brass ox has really mellowed and it's very, very cool. Very, very cool piece. I love it. Okay, so what we need to do now is we need to talk about making something that's gypsy beaded. So let's do it. Now, you don't have to have eye pins. You know, you can make your own eye pins. You know, say if all you have is head pins. Here's how you make an eye pin. This is easy. Now, always clip away from yourself and try to contain your clippage. See, that kind of flew. That's not that's not website. That's not workshop safety. But I'm usually down here by myself. Anyway, as you can see, I turned this over at a right angle after I clipped the head off. Okay, now I'm going to take it from the back and I'm just going to slowly roll it up and over. That's all an eye pin is. And then just straighten it out. That's all an eye pin is. And as you can see, I'm not good with this on camera, guys. I'm good at it, but not good on camera. My hands tend to shake a little bit. I don't have palsy or anything. They just always have. It hasn't. If you have the same problem, please know it won't stop you from making jewelry. It never has me. It's just when I get on camera, then it gets harder. I always have a round nose pliers, flat nose pliers, and a good nippers. So I like to take the flat nose and straighten it out and get it where I want it to be. Okay, so now I have a pretty decent eye pin there. So don't ever worry. Say you come to our website, you need eye pins really bad. We usually always have these great big long ones because they just come in handy. It's so great for wrapping. But you know, you can take a head pin and turn it into an eye pin lickety split. Can't turn it into an eye pin as easily. You got to do something inventive there, but you can turn a head pin into an eye pin very easily. So this is very simple. I'm just going to take some little beads here and I'm going to string them on and we're going to see what we get. I'm going to add some, I just talked about bead caps, so let's go for a bead cap here. I've got a little rondelle and a little corrugated. We have these now. I didn't share these for the longest time. I kept them all to myself, but now I am sharing them on the website. Little corrugated beads that I have plated. I have them plated. Brass ox. So I'm layering that on there. And now I'm layering this. And let me go for another little spacer type bead. Another little corrugated bead. Okay. So I think that's enough. That makes a nice spacer. It's nicely balanced. You see how I've balanced it? I go from small to big to small. Then I'm going to take this and I'm going to turn this as tight as I can to this last bead over at a right hand angle. Okay? And down. Actually a little bit more maybe. But you see what's happened here? Sometimes I'm kind of glad even when there's little boo-boos when we're doing this, because if you don't get this turned all the way in, you're going to have a little bit of a problem when you go tight on the other end. Okay, I've got that fixed now. So let me go back and let me get my little corrugated bead on there again. Yeah, I'm glad to show you the mistakes. I think you should see them. Okay, maybe not go quite as tight, because that pushed that all down there and splayed this open. That's what happened there, guys, in case you didn't catch it. I'm going to go about this far, because I'm going to make a loop, and I want it to kind of match this loop, okay? So I'm going to go like right here, And be careful with your clippage that doesn't go flying. Come from the end. And turn in. Someday, I'm hoping maybe I get to go to Art and Soul again this year. And I'm going to take a class. Actually, I'm going up to see Linda and Opie next month. Linda, Opie, and O'Brien. Jordan took his first class from them last Friday up in Chagrin Falls. And Linda had told me she was going to teach me some of her Nina Bagley. Is it Nina or Nina? Nina, I think. Bagley wraps. So maybe she can help me do better. She's been such a nice mentor to me. That's Linda and Opie from Burnt Offerings. They wrote Metal Shop Discovery Workshop and Who's Your Dada. They do art dolls. But anyway, I've got a very nice connector there. So all I have to do is say I want to make another one. Let's do another one, okay? Just for the hay. Let's do another one. See how I put that down on my knee and got it away? That's what you ought to do. So I come up. I'm going to make my loop again. We don't want that part to go flying because it could be just a little particle and end up in somebody's eye. So if you were in a class, that would be really sad if your neighbor ended up with a shard of some sort in their eye because of your clippage. Or somebody else that was working along with you. See, I'm trying to get this closed as tight as I can because I don't want that happening again. I like tight closures. That should be good till I get the little bead on it. Okay. So, I'm going to get my little bead. And then find me another spacer bead. Wouldn't you know it, because I didn't plan it. Well, I'll have to use one of these colors. Just because we got to get this done. Because it's about getting you guys to see what the idea is. So that you can work your own neckline treatments. Because that's what I think it is. It's just working it out. You know, sometimes when you go to do something and you can get kind of discouraged and say, well, you said to do this and you said to do that and it didn't come out. You know what? Everything, as far as creativity is concerned, is experimentation. It's the same as, see, I'm going to clip it down here. You know, it's like a recipe. Sometimes you bake a cake and it comes out from the recipe. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it's something you did. Sometimes it's not. See, it's wanting to do that again because I'm getting it too tight. These aren't the pliers I usually use. I should have brought them down here. See, that flew off. You know, it's going to be one of those days. It's going to be one of those days. Okay, so how do we fix this? Well, we start over. And believe me, I do plenty of that. See, just like we're talking. Sometimes it works out the first time, sometimes it doesn't. You know? How do you think I learned all this stuff that I know? I took a few classes. I did. That was all good. Mostly, I just tinked around. You know, when I started making jewelry, we didn't have all these great books. We didn't have all these great teachers who made themselves so accessible. You had to go like silversmith school or beading, you know, really... It just didn't have it. So you know what? You took old jewelry apart and you figured it out for yourself. Yeah, that's what you did. And then voila, one day it all came together. So, you know, when you make something, guys, and it doesn't come out the first time, don't throw in the towel. Save your mistakes. Go back and look at them. Like I was telling you, you know, like with some of your focals that maybe just aren't popping, you know, go take them apart and rework them. Why not? You might end up with something that's really out of this world. Yeah, see, the problem is these pliers. They're just a little too slippy. So, you know, it's not making me a good loop here. And I'm afraid we'll run out of time if I goof off with it too much. I just want to give you the idea. Okay, so we got two parts here. We got to connect them, right? So I'm going to take my flat nose because they'll be a little bit, or maybe even these ones. These might be better. They're kind of flat, but they've got a point. These are pretty good. Ultra Ergo. I bought these for a class. I should carry them at the site. They cost a little bit more. I think they're Eurotool, but they're worth it. Now, see, I like to get my jump ring really flush. In fact, if I can, I like to get my jump rings doubled. And I like to get this tucked all the way in. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it on camera or not.
believe me, I can do it. My stuff doesn't tend to come apart much. I like stuff tight. See, this jump ring really probably shouldn't have used it. Do you see that? It's not, in fact, let's just take it off. Sorry about that. Beads do that. I should have brought one of my bead mats down. Shoulda. Okay, I got a jump ring that was, see, sometimes, can you see that? How they cut it kind of off center? You know, these are commercially made jump rings. And sometimes you'll have that. You should probably select one that's not like that. I like oval ones because they're more secure. They don't tend to come open as much as round ones. That's why you'll find a lot of oval ones. And see how I got that really flush? See that? That's what you want. Flush as can be. No space in between. Alright, we have a nice connector now. You see all my doll heads here? Did I tell you about my doll heads? These came in the mail today from Harry Wood, my pal, who does all the steampunk and all the benchwork stuff and shares it with us at the site. He has a brand new project coming out where he cut the middle of an owl out and ice resined it and used it as a backless bezel. And he sent me these today. We traded. These came from Germany. They're the ones that are all dug up. Look at this little doll. Can you see that? That reminds me of me. I'm going to have to make a tassel head out of her or something. Anyways, I was talking about working a necklace. Okay. Here's a section that I did using some of our caps and lentil beads, which I don't have the filigree lentil beads available for you guys right now. I don't know how much time. Don't worry about it. But anyway, showing you really quick how that goes together. Robin's worried about how much time we have left. If we have to, we'll edit or something. Anyway, this is how this goes together. Okay? So I'm going to turn this. And I'm using one of my great big eye pins. So see what I'm doing now? This is one of my 3-4 inch ones. Now I'm going to twist it. This is just the right, I love these things because they make a really cool loose wrap very easily. They're just the right gauge of wire to do this. And again, I'm fussy about these. I can't be fussy on camera because I'm running out of time. But I don't like these little ends sticking up. Can you see how that's sticking up? That's no good. That needs to be fixed. Sometimes if you show me stuff at the site, I might say, I see an end sticking up. I can't fix it right now, but normally what I would do is I would use the flat nose pliers and press it in. And then keep cutting. And I might even file. Oh, it looks like it went in. Yeah, that's good now. Alright. So now I have a section. Okay. This is how that's done. Okay. I have this section too. So working my necklace. I might get this done on camera, I might not. But I'm going to give you guys ideas in working my necklace. See, I'm going to do maybe this. Just similar stuff. And just keep going up and around. Now, I've got chain, my hammered bead and link chain. But I might double this. If it's long enough, I won't need a clasp. If it's not, I will. In which case, maybe I would put maybe a great big industrial sized lobster claw there. You guys will have to come to the Facebook page later after I finish this and see how I work this. I'm just starting. I drilled holes in these Tim Holtz trinket pins that we carry. I just drilled a hole up here and made connectors out of them. They are so cool. And also we have the little safety pins in the brass socks and pewter rocks from Tim Holtz. Another cool way to connect. Very cool way to connect. Anyway, you'll have to come visit me later after I have this finished. I will take a nice picture and you can come and see. You can critique it. We'll talk about neckline treatments and how you can improve. But these hopefully gave you some really good ideas to see how that you could get along without an eye pin, make your own, use a piece of wire. You can take wire and bind a bead. That's what I did here with this copper binding wire. So many ways to make your neckline treatments textural and interesting to make your focal pop. So I hope you enjoyed this. Remember, experimentation is key. Don't be afraid to experiment. Don't be afraid to ruin a few things in order to learn. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon.